Hi, this is Adrienne. Today we're going to talk about adding fractions with different denominators. The steps that we need to follow are listed here. First, we need to find the least common denominator, or LCD. Then we write equivalent fractions with the new denominator. We add the numerators. The denominator remains the same. And then last but not least, we have to simplify or reduce the fraction if possible. So let's take a look at this first example here, 1/2 plus 1/3. Our first step is to find the least common denominator for 2 and 3. And we're going to write equivalent fractions with that new denominator. If we notice, both 2 and 3 are prime numbers, and whenever we have two prime numbers, we know that the least common denominator is the product of the two numbers. So we multiply those together. 2 times 3 is 6. So our new denominator will be 6. Then we need to write equivalent fractions with the new denominator. So we look across horizontally and say, okay, what do we do to 2 to get 6? We multiplied by 3. So we have to do the same thing to the numerator. What we're really doing here is multiplying by 3 over 3. And remember that any number over itself equals the whole number 1. So our fractions will be equivalent. So 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/2 equals 3/6. We also need to find the equivalent fraction for 1/3. So going from 3 to 6, we're multiplying by 2. So we need to multiply then by 2 over 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And now we can add our fractions. We have 3/6 plus 2/6. So we add the numerators. 3 plus 2 is 5. And our denominator, 6, remains the same. So our answer is 5/6. And that fraction cannot be reduced. Let's look at another example. Here we have 5/6 plus 1/9. So our first step is to find the least common denominator. And in this case, we don't have prime numbers, so we can't use the shortcut that we used in the last example. So the easiest method to find the least common denominator here would probably be to list out the multiples. So multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on. We can also list out multiples of 9, 9, 18, and so on. There we see 18 is the smallest number that both have as a multiple. So our least common denominator is going to be 18. So we need to write equivalent fractions with our new denominator of 18. So we have to determine how to write those equivalent fractions. So if we look across horizontally, going from 6 to 18, we're multiplying by 3. Multiplying by 3. So we have to also multiply by 3 on the top. 5 times 3 is 15. What we're doing here, again, is multiplying by 3 over 3, which is the same as the whole number 1. Going from 9 to 18, we're multiplying by 2. 9 times 2 is what gives us 18, so we have to do the same thing to the numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. And now we can add our fractions now that we have the same denominator. 15 18ths plus 2 18ths. So 15 plus 2 is 17, and our denominator 18 remains the same. So our answer is 17 18ths, and that fraction cannot be reduced. So that's how we add fractions when we have a different denominator.